general questions or open discussion for the class?
I have one thing.
Sure.
It keeps showing a private number on here and it keeps coming up.
Sure.
I can't get out of it. I have no idea what that
Is
is.
that your
It's not here right now, but it keeps coming up on my phone and I don't understand why.
is it like a phone number, like someone's calling you? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Does it say spam call?
It says private number.
Up at the top it says private number. And I should have taken a picture of it.
Yeah, so what that sounds like to me, it sounds like a phone number that's calling you that they don't have. Usually instead of private number it would say spam call or something like that, but usually private number means it is someone else and not a business. Yeah, exactly. But the reason why it's popping up at the top of your phone is usually if you're looking at, is it usually when you're looking at your phone using it? Yeah. So on a lot of phones, when you get a call, when you're actively using the device, it shows up at the top instead of covering the whole screen like it does. Did it? Then interesting.
Very small pictures, several little pictures.
Yeah. Interesting. So my first thought is it's some sort of phone call, but the picture part that sounds odd. So I think I would have to see it to give you better advice, which I hate to say, but you said private number.
Yeah, it's a private number. Have you seen that? But I just don't know what it is. Could that person not want his phone number published?
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's what I was. Yeah, but the picture part is the what's whatever me. But it looks something like this. I know that's kind of small, but it has pictures on it.
Yeah, but it has pictures.
So this is kind of what I was thinking in my head that you were describing. The picture part to me is confusing. I feel like I ought to see that because usually in that case, the next thing that makes me think is that it's. I mean, I wouldn't interact with it if you're just swiping it away or whatever. I think that's fine, but it makes me wonder if it's some sort of like fake call or advertisement or something that's trying to make you think it's a phone call. So you tap it, talk to someone or whatnot. Seems odd. Yeah. Yeah, but this is what I would, when you say that, this is what I would expect. But that's a weird one. Yeah, sorry, I don't have a good answer for you because yeah.
To go along with maybe
Sure.
line, I've gone into block, spam and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly, I'm getting way more. So do you have to go back in and ask to block more than one?
So you're talking about phone calls, text messages, things like that?
Yeah.
So it depends. I mean, and I feel like I don't have really good advice with this because spam. We live in a world of spam right now, right? There's so much. There's phone call spam. There's email spam.
Especially since the health store.
I know.
Sure.
They're just inundated.
100%. And there's legal spam, and then there's illegal spam, right? So, in a general sense, if you're getting, well, let's call it, it's all spam, right? But then there's like scam attempts, or there's truly just like marketing, right? Trying to get your business. So in a perfect world, for a legitimate business who's trying to give you phone calls and stuff like that, things like the no call list, stuff like that should be applied to you. I don't know if there is an expiry on that. No problem. Good luck. Yeah. Thank you for coming. I understand. No problem. So in a perfect world, there are, for legitimate businesses, they should, by law, they have to respect. There's not a lot of policing on that, but my point is yes, if you're getting true like marketing calls from legitimate businesses, you shouldn't have to do much with that once you put your number on the no call list or things like that, or block the number. You should be good. But what we're dealing with is a huge influx of the illegal stuff or the non-legitimate stuff, right? Those, they don't follow the rules, so they don't care about the rules, so they don't follow the rules, right? So that's what we're dealing with a lot. I
think what we're all getting at is what it is.
Mostly it's mostly phishing attempts. Yeah. and I believe I've said it before, but just to reiterate, spam is classified as anything that you are getting that you don't want. But there is a difference between like legitimate like business marketing stuff and then like the guys who are trying to get your banking account information or your financials or stuff like that. But no, to answer your question, yes, if you're getting spam and stuff like that, the best thing you can do, calls, phone messages, decline it and block the number, or report as uh, report as spam and report as junk or things like that. You usually, whenever you delete stuff, you usually have that option. And the biggest culprits are text, calls, and email. So if you select an email and mark as spam or delete it, it'll ask to report it, things like that. But the thing is the bad stuff is going to trickle in.
What happens when you report?
Yeah, great question. So at a high level, when you report it, um, everything is kind of like, so there are people who report stuff accidentally, right? So I would like to say that as soon as you report something, it's automatically blocked. And that's not true. What it really is it goes into what I'll just say an algorithm. So as certain types of email come in and more people report it as spam, it kind of puts it on it kind of grades it. So the higher and higher it gets based on the type of email and what it looks like, the more the computers learn, okay, this is probably actually spam. So really what the goal behind reporting it is you're giving data to whoever your service provider is for your phone, whatever, and they get to learn. So it's like an active learning process.
But there's no person that says, oh, look.
Uh, I can't say for sure because it's their systems, but based on how things work now, I doubt it's probably a person like reviewing statistics and making better decisions on whether the system's working or not. But no, it's not like they're looking email by email and saying, oh, this is true or this is false. It's all algorithms learning.
Track these people down. They never do anything to the actual person, or the company, or whoever this is on the other line, which could be offshore somewhere anyway.
No, usually not your providers or things like that, but they can send that information to like government agencies and stuff like that who do fight the big fight and try to track some of these people down. So it's all part of it's you know what I mean? So they can report it and say, okay, like I have T-Mobile, so T-Mobile might say, okay, I'm reporting to the FCC that we've got an increase of scams from this area, and then whatever the government agencies and stuff do with that information is so there are people fighting against these, but the problem is with the way they utilize technology now, it's hard to pinpoint. So it's like a war. I mean, I hate to sound dramatic like that, but it's as soon as we figure out who they are, they figure out how to disguise themselves again, right? So it's a huge battle. So, and you really don't get, I know it seems like you get a huge amount of spam, but the the systems are pretty good at blocking a lot. I mean, I know we would like to get no spam, but there is a lot that doesn't come through.
I get at least 10 in the morning every day.
10's not that.
It's coming up again. I know I blocked it.
Yeah. Is it legitimate?
Yeah,
Let me see.
It looks like it. The guy on TV.
Oh, sorry, I locked your phone.
Oh wait, they can do anything.
You have to watch the buttons on this.
Yeah, I know. It's not real.
It's not real?
No, because if you look at this, so see where it says like Leanne 109 at ZHZ blah 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 blah.
So what do I just do a block on that?
You can, but see how it's so random what they do. So let me double check myself before I get really crazy because I looked at it for 2 seconds. But
What I've done before is if they don't have the unsubscribe, and I got a question about the unsubscribe too.
Mm-hmm.
When I click on unsubscribe, I key in my email address.
Right.
And hit unsubscribe.
Right.
Safari cannot open the site. So what do I do then? What I do is go in and go down and block it, and then do a delete. So in that specific instance, so I'll answer your question, but I'm going to back up and give you like a big picture thing. So my first reaction, without like digging into it, that looks like a fake email to me. But all of that marketing stuff, the guy who's on TV, whatever, that's all public. I could Google right now and get that image, I guarantee you.
So the guys are creating emails that look familiar because that's, as humans, we look for familiarity, right? But the email address it's coming from is all crazy. So let's say that you do block that email. The problem is that they're too smart to keep using the same email. So as soon as you block that one, you could get the exact same email from a slightly different address. So can you block it? Yes, 100%. Will it stop that kind of stuff coming? Probably not. And the same thing is if you're trying to go into that email and unsubscribe from it, most likely when you click the unsubscribe and Firefox says it can't get to it, it's because it's a fake link. It's not real. They're putting the unsubscribe in there to make it look like it's a legitimate email, but it's not.
Picking up my email address.
Yeah.
And then I keep getting more.
Yeah. Yeah. So
on this, do I go down and block it?
you could hit block, and then mark as spam. And then usually when you mark as spam, that's trying to help them say, hey, I keep getting these kind of emails, but it is spam. But again, blocking it doesn't always work like that because they may.
Give me the spam option. It just says block contact.
Yeah, you can do that too. Usually, if you go back, where was that?
This guy's Liberty Mutual.
Oh,
Oops, sorry.
no, you're okay. I'll go back. So this one. Sorry, I'm gonna not go upside down and I'll go back to it.
That's the one there. It's just you've got the bottom of it.
Yeah, I know, but it's gonna take. Okay.
Liberty Mutual.
So, oh dang it, I did it again.
I don't like where they put the.
I know. And I'll describe it to everyone. But if you press and hold on this, see where this says mark. So you can definitely block contact or trash, but mark usually.
Move to junk.
That's probably the closest you get. You're gonna see like.
But it's not keeping them from sending another one in an hour.
Well, you could block. No, you could block that email, but it's going to be from that specific email. So let's say they're sending it from abc.com. Next time they're going to send you the same email, but abz.com. So you would have to block every single possible email that they could ever come up with.
Change my email address to new
Um,
I thought about that because we have one that's not the norm, AOL,
yeah.
email, all that stuff. Ours is the old Roadrunner thing.
Yes, it would help, though I don't think that's a permanent solution. Because as soon as your email, and to be clear, I'm not saying this is okay. I'm not trying to make it feel like, just ignore it, get over it, whatever. It's just a problem that there's not a really good solution for right now. You definitely can create a new email address and then make sure you're really careful with who and what you get that out to. But if you ever end up in another data breach or anything like that and they access your email, you're going to start this whole process over again, right?
But move to junk doesn't do anything other than just get rid of it. Does it
Right.
let them know that I opened it? Do they know that I opened it?
They may or may not. It depends on the email itself and how they wrote it. Most likely, if you open an email, they'll probably get a message saying that you opened it. Nothing more than that, just because they want to know who are real people. Have you ever gotten phone calls and you answer it, it stays there for 2 seconds and it clicks? They just want to see if you're answering, because as soon as they answer, so they have the robots do the dirty work, right? They go through a million numbers and they're like, okay, out of these million, here are 10,000 that answered. Then they'll send the real humans after the 10,000, right? So you're essentially doing the same thing with the emails. Here, we'll send out a million emails, and then from the 10,000 that get opened, we'll start sending more and more stuff.
So am I doing anything different? I mean, versus going through the harassing me, as to block the contact and delete it and everything. Is it doing the same thing if I just hit delete?
Pretty much.
That way I'm not opening it.
Yeah. If you think it's spam or it's spam right off the bat, if you just delete it, then just deleting it and going on is probably going to be as efficient for you as a person.
When they all pop up, I just go down and select and hit 10 of them in a row and hit delete.
Yep.
That's not opening them.
Correct. Yep. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I really hate to say it, and I'm sorry, guys, but there's just not, like I said, this shouldn't be on you. It should be on the providers who have your email and stuff like that to make sure there's nothing fake that falls out. But as someone who works with email systems and things like that. Like, it's always a balance between. So we have spam filters and stuff too that we tune, right? We make it more strict or less strict, and the more strict you get it, the more likely you are to actually bounce back legitimate emails, and then the less strict, the more spam you get. So it's a balancing act, and unfortunately, but 10. I mean, I know I hate to say that, but 10 isn't that much.
Oh,
Spam.
That's just when I get up.
No, I know, but
maybe 10, maybe
if
more
you
than
guys
that.
ever actually look through your spam folder, you will probably see hundreds in there.
Where's that at?
So it's usually called junk or spam.
Junk?
Yep.
Okay.
So look it through all that.
Yeah, I go through, I select, and then I do the whole thing.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Just go through and delete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a good source? How do we get familiar, understand the nomenclature of all this? Because I do not understand a lot of the verbiage because they use it in ways that I'm not used to.
I understand.
And is it just we have to go to our manual or our help or whatever, our guide, and try to figure out what they're talking about that way?
It's hard, and what it is I'm gonna give you several suggestions. Right, number one, it's hard. I think the best thing you can do is start asking people who know, who have the patience to explain. Right, because I would say, oh, so like if you don't know a word, like let's say that like I don't know what a English word is, and I go and I put it in the dictionary and I look it up. You're like, oh, okay, I get that. Unfortunately, with technology, the words can sometimes be the same, but the context matters too. And so I don't have a good like definitive like if you're confused about this, do this, other than ask someone who you know. And this is kind of why I'm trying to do these classes, because hopefully over time we can start learning about things. Like, I get people all the time asking me what the difference between a browser and an app is, or an app and software. And the thing is they're all so closely connected. Sometimes you don't even know the difference. So the nomenclature, totally understand. That is probably the biggest barrier in technology, right? Regardless of how to use it, is what you call it, what you say this or that or whatever. But I think we have to be cautious when we're using it, but you can't be afraid to get into it, right? So if you don't, some people are like, oh, I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to ever touch it. Well, then you won't ever become familiar with it and understand it, right? Yeah, I think just asking questions and yeah, because like I said, if you just Google like what is a browser, you're gonna sit there for days. Like if you go to Wikipedia and you say web browser and you start looking through that, you're gonna be like, I don't even that doesn't make any sense to me. But you know what I mean. You know, yeah.
I know, and when you go to the utilities icon and you try to find, again, stuff, the way they have stuff itemized and categorized makes no sense to me. And
Sure.
if I'm looking for a specific thing, I have no idea how to find it in all. I mean, I can search and sometimes it'll come up.
Sure. So just to make, if this makes you feel better, even in my world, so I am in technology, but I didn't invent the technology, right? Microsoft, Apple, Google, they invented the technology. And so we've all heard of the cloud, right? So Google has a cloud, Amazon has a cloud, Microsoft has a cloud. They all try to achieve the same things, but I primarily work in Microsoft. And even though we're trying to do the exact same thing, if I go over to Amazon or Google, I am going to be lost. I may have a vague understanding, but my point is like Apple. The way they organize things is because that's what they think is the best way, right? So it's hard, and that's why nomenclature is hard too. It's because like, okay, if I say go to your settings and look at display stuff, well, what Apple decides to put in your display settings and what Microsoft or Google decides, it varies. There are similarities, of course, right? But yeah, I 100% understand. And
I feel like I'm not that stupid.
no, not at all.
I thought I would never ever figure any of this out. And I'm just a slave to somebody else.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. Even me and even me myself, I'm at a different caliber, but in the same boat. So we almost everything in IT, if we the industry, if they can put it into an acronym, it's in an acronym. And because of that, we have multiple acronyms that are the same letters but completely different meanings. And so someone will ask me one thing, I'm like, oh, that's this. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, give me the context. Oh, okay, that means this, right? So it's, I wish I had a good answer, but I think just your exposure. I think the exposure is the biggest part, and that's again why I try to do these.
And it keeps you at a job.
Yeah, I had one of my teachers when I was learning IT and stuff like that. He was like, "Listen, when you get frustrated with this stuff because it's difficult, be thankful because that's why you have the job."
Yeah.
So,
Well, I worked
yeah,
in computers for 40 years,
sure,
but when I retired, they had just came out with PCs,
sure,
and these are the ones that are up to the boxes and everything.
sure,
None of this computer on your phone, none
sure.
of these little laptops or things like that. So, I mean, to me, this is still all Greek, even though I was started in computers in 65.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's familiarity. I'm not on Facebook. I have a Facebook account, but I don't really use it. I I again, you know who I am. You've seen me talk to you. If I have to do anything on Facebook, sometimes I'll go to my wife. How do I do this?
Oh,
Right?
they changed so much on Facebook, it's scary.
Right. But my point is Facebook, like everyone would think the IT guy doesn't know how to use Facebook, but if you're not familiar with it, you don't have the exposure. It doesn't make sense. So I understand you. So in the world, so even though it seems like I know everything on the phone, I have exposure with that. Now, put me in an environment that's still on technology that I'm not used to. Sure, I could probably figure it out because I've got a good, huge base of knowledge, but it's not like I'm, proficient in any means. So,
So would you use more TikTok and other things like that versus?
no, I don't use a lot of social media at all. The only social media I use is Snapchat, which I don't know if you do or do not know that, but the only reason I use Snapchat is because that's where our family group chat is on.
That's our family.
Yeah.
But can other people get to it?
No, it's just like texting with photos. Don't get me started on it. I would just rather use text messages and go on. I don't have time for social media, to be quite honest with you. But yes, and that's my point. So when it comes to social media, which is one of, if not the most largest aspect or use case for technology nowadays, I'm kind of lost in that realm. So
I like to see the videos on different things to make and how to
sure,
use things from the thrift store to make things.
sure. No, I mean,
And I spend sometimes an hour or two, maybe more, just watching those.
oh yeah, and that's totally.
It's
Listen,
entertainment.
at one point in time, I used to be on every social media, and I ended up with a bad relationship with it because it can definitely be addicting and things like that. For my own personal sanity and well-being, I told myself, no more. I'm away from that, whatever. But I don't have issues with, like, my wife's on it, but she still manages herself just fine, and is whatever. So that's okay. So.
And when we were working on our 50th class reunion,
Mhm.
we set up a group thing
Mhm.
with our high school name and the year we graduated.
Mhm.
And we have over 100 and some people that communicate through that,
Mhm.
but no one else. And they're always asking, "Can I join? Did you graduate
Yeah.
from that
Right.
class?" No, you can't.
I know.
So,
No, I can't tell you how many times my wife has told me something that's happened with my family because it's in like the family chat or something. And I'm like, no way, that happened. She was like, yeah, how do you not know? I'm like, I'm not there. So I get it. Um, okay, I'll take I think another question, and then we can do one-on-ones. But yeah, great. By the way, fantastic questions. I love those. What to do with nomenclature with technology and how to deal with the spam. I think those are the two biggest problems any age group. And I'm not talking, it's not just your age group, it's even really young people too. If it's outside of social media, they struggle with it. Um, People in my generation, in my position, job, industry, we were always worried that the younger people, as they got, as we got older, they would need people like us less and less, but that's not true at all. As soon as you get outside of things that they're used to and more on the back end of stuff like I am, it's all Greek to them too. So what do we do about this? I don't know.
Every time there's an update.
100%.
I got one out there now.
I'm still struggling with the iOS 26 update. They moved so many things to different places. I still that have been there for years. I still go like, okay, it's this there and there, and I'm like, oh no, hang on, they moved that. Now where is it? Okay, yeah. So
Oh, I know.
yeah.
That's the other thing.
Okay. Any other last big questions? Okay.
I had Facebook questions, but you don't use Facebook.
I mean, I can listen. I can help some general stuff, but
They deleted everybody's about information.
did they?
Yes.
I didn't know
You
about
go
this.
out to
That's where I
somebody's,
couldn't find that one the other
that's,
day. I was,
they, or it's in a different place. I don't
oh, I
know.
didn't.
I'm wondering if they. I wonder if they put some. Man, Facebook's been in hot water so many times. I'll have to go and see if there's more information on it because I don't keep up with it too much. But it makes me, if they may have deleted it, but if they didn't, it makes me wonder if it's a new privacy setting where now they defaulted it to not public because of some of the stuff that they've had issues with. Because think about what the About Me was. And it used to be public. So it was like who you were married with, what your date of birth was, where you're from, where you work. For any social engineering, anything like that, or just personal or physical security, those are huge metrics and things to be public. So it wouldn't be surprising to me, and this is not fact, I'm just speculating. It wouldn't be surprising to me if they were like, okay, we need to make this a little more secure. So we're going to keep it there for people who you want to see it, but hide the rest of it. So
All the grooming and things like
100%.
that. That's where that's really dangerous.
100%.
No, my sister called a couple days ago and says, "Isn't Jill's birthday today?" My niece
Mhm.
in Arizona. I said, "Yeah, why?" And she says, "Well, it's not on Facebook." And so I went and looked.
And
I
it's not
looked
there
at other
anymore.
people, and nobody's is out there. And I can't look. I used to be able to look at, like, if I wanted to know if you knew somebody, I'd go look at your friends. Oh. And see if you knew this person. And it would tell me if you knew that person.
Yeah, see, and that's
Now you can't do that unless you're friends with you.
and that makes
that person are both friends.
and that makes sense because I can't tell you.
But I used it for a lot of things.
I know, 100%, 100%. And it was a good tool for that, but it's because it's a good tool for you to identify other people, it's also a good tool for the bad guys to identify other people. So I guarantee you, at least the friend information is probably there. You just have to be friends with them, like you said, right? So it's better security. And I'm glad in a way because Facebook has way too much information on a lot of people, and they really need to be more careful with it, in my personal opinion. That's not a, but
I was sitting with my brother yesterday. He just turned 80, and he don't have a computer. Only thing he has is an iPhone, and he doesn't have phone numbers in it. Like if I call, he goes, "Hello."
yeah.
I said, "Willie, this is your sister." He doesn't know it's me. He can't hit a button and call me. And I was telling him, he wanted me to look. He said, "Do you know Gigi, his grandson's his girlfriend's real name?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "No." And I started going on my phone and all. And I said, "Well, no, under here it's just listed as Gigi. It doesn't have her real name."
Sure.
He goes, "Oh, that's on there." And I said, "Yeah." And so is her dad. And, he goes, "Oh, that's dangerous." And that's why he doesn't have all that information.
Yeah, I
He doesn't
can.
know anything about a computer.
And I can understand that. I mean, unfortunately, so believe it or not, you can still buy flip phones, but they're very rare and few in between. Um, but unfortunately, the way that the world is going, I mean, landlines are almost extinct, right? I mean, and if you need a phone or anything to contact someone, unfortunately, you have to buy a computer, and I mean phone computer, right? So you're this guy. Trust me, my dad's one of these. That's my point, and that's my point. So he needs to make phone calls, and that's it. But he can't just buy a phone. He has to buy this pocket computer. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? And my dad, he's only 50 something, but he's a country guy. He doesn't want anything to do. He would still be carrying a flip phone if he could easily find one nowadays. The only thing he likes about his smartphone is that it has a camera on it. So I get that. And unfortunately for him, it's a huge waste to have a whole computer in his phone. But yeah, but unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So yeah. All right, guys, are you cool if we do one-on-ones then?